Again, if we could turn to your experience in Senegal, what was your entrepreneurial venture there?
Well, what my company basically, it's a company that the company is a US-based company, but most of the main providers of the supply that we needed are it's in Senegal.
Yes.
But the problem we had there is that we had to create the supply chain from scratch. So in a way, it's hard already enough to start a company, but on top of that, if you have to create your entire supply chain,
Sure.
you can see the added issue there. And what happened is that in Senegal, we needed hibiscus because our flagship drink was the hibiscus drink called Bissap from Senegal. It's a cultural drink. So there, what we really had to fight was this notion that a lot of African women, Senegalese women had, that, we had all of these NGOs come and they all tried to have us grow hibiscus, and now it's rotten in all of these warehouses. And so by the time I arrived, none of them wanted to get into that anymore. And that's in a way how the aid business has really, tweaked in the most negative way a lot on the ground.
You mentioned that the supply chain issue had also been a result partly of Coca-Cola coming into the country, and you had the traditional drinks that were very popular and
Absolutely.
successful, but they were replaced by a successful. How can the smaller businesses in Senegal compete with the large corporation? How did you do that?
I think, for us, what we did is we really benefited from what I call a convergence of trends, but these are really trends that are here to stay. And what it is all about, I think that around the world we are going back to a global consciousness. We're going back to a global consciousness, meaning that I think all of us realize that something is not working, meaning from the way we eat to the way we exercise, our lifestyles, a lot is not right. And the type of wave that I'm writing on is a wave that has to do with people wanting to go back to authentic and indigenous things, whether it's in drinks and foods and beverages, or if it's in the type of lifestyle that you try to adopt. And so a lot of people now, the type of demographic that I'm going after, is for us to say, Coke is doing whatever Coke is doing.
Yes.
But we also know that there is a part of the population that's really interested in going back to our cultures and to the roots of the roots of the culture.
Okay.
So, but also, no one is interested in products that are not elaborated or sophisticated. So, if you can use authenticity and indigenous assets as the base foundation of a new brand you're about to build, but you surround that with modernism
Okay.
and contemporarity.
Yes. Got it.
You then have a brand new product that a whole group of people are looking for, and that's where we're going. And it turns out that that type of trend is actually contagious. Even the classical Coke drinkers are now interested. They're going away from Coke Classic towards the drink that we're creating, and that's how we're winning. I'm not sure.
All right, so part of your solution is a marketing strategy that plays on innovative trends and what people are interested in, right, as consumers. Your big challenge in part was disruption in the supply chains that have been brought on by foreign competition. But your argument is that if you have a passion for your product, right, as you do, then that supply chain can be rebuilt. That's good for you. It's also good for the indigenous farmers, right, in Senegal, and the little guys, right, so to speak, can compete against the larger corporations. You're now doing a second startup business here in the United States. Are the entrepreneurial challenges easier or greater for you here?
Oh no, I think it's different trade-offs. First of all, what happens is a lot of a supply chain. If I wanted to do my business and keep it in America, it would be so much easier. Let's be frank. But if I find a way to get the Senegalese part involved again, well, it helps me build equity in my brand. And we also have found that if you are able to set up the right type of supply chain, eventually the cost will go down and be actually less than if I was just relying on an existing supply chain here in America. So it is worth it, but the transition is not an easy one.
Toward the end of the talk, you were speaking more directly to the students here at Rockford College, and you had asked them how many of them are considering being entrepreneurs, and very few were. Most are considering a traditional career path of going to work for someone else. And it might be that they just don't know very much about it, or they find it a little bit intimidating, right? How do I become an entrepreneur, right, so to speak? What's the best advice you can give to young people to get them maybe to think more seriously about entrepreneurship as a career? Why should that be attractive to them? And if they're going to do that, how best should they go about it?
Mm-hmm. What I tell everybody is that entrepreneurship, first of all, is not for everyone, because it should be okay for everyone to know that it's not for everyone. It's a small percentage of the population that are entrepreneurs. So that's the number one thing I want to get out there. And then the next thing, now let's say you are amongst that small percentage. You have a type of personality that fits it and the type of guts to go with that. Okay. And there's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. It's just
who you are.
That's who you are.
Okay.
So if that's who you are, what I would tell people is, I was saying earlier, people have to pay attention. We're in a world where everything moves so fast, so quick, but people have to pay attention, especially to those moments of superb enlightenment. Sometimes they're dreaming of something completely new, but is in the world of their dreams. That's something worth writing down. Wherever that finds you. Sometimes it's in a plane, everybody else is sleeping in the cabin. It happened to me all the time. I'm in the plane flying over, the Atlantic, going from one place to another around the globe. I have no idea where I'm going. But, up there in altitude, everyone else is sleeping around me, and I'm dreaming up of, a better world here, or I'm dreaming up of, new heights, and what if, So then I write it down. Sometimes something really frustrates you, like, is it that every seat I sit in the plane has to be this stiff or this or that? So those are also moments to think about what could solve your problem right now. And if you're seeing it systematically everywhere that this doesn't work for you, if you're feeling that way, chances are most of the people feel that way. What happens is we're just a small percentage of us who are capable of saying this is not working, or I dreamed of something, and go after it. What happens is that the masses, the rest of the population, they're going through those frustrations all the time. They're going through those dreams all the time. But never it will cross their minds to act on it. And I feel it is our job to do it. And when we come up with those solutions, or we create, we make those dreams real, we're finding that a part of that population, some of them are adhering. They're coming to us, and they become our consumers.
So we come up with a really good idea that you get excited about, or by contrast, you have a thing that's really frustrating and a problem that you think really needs to be solved there. What is that trigger that gets you and other entrepreneurs kind of off the sofa, so to speak, and actually doing something about it? Because there are lots of people who have good ideas, but they don't follow through. How can you encourage people to make that step?
That's why I try and go back to the passion thing. Because for me, when I look at what makes me quit my first company, I quit my job, a very comfortable job, to go into this world of unknown. People are like, what, you're going to do a beverage company? You know nothing about beverages. And I tell them, excuse me, I know a lot about beverages because I'm a huge consumer of beverages. It is my passion. I make these beverages in my kitchen. I know how to tweak them. I know all of that. So that gives me the right to do what I have to do. So I think at some point it's just this, it's this attitude. It's an attitude at some point. It's an attitude of criticize. Really, it's that. Criticize by creating. I think when Michael first told me that, gave me that saying from Michelangelo, it's just made so much sense. And I think that if people want to really stick to that, it will lead them to the right thing. It will lead them into, jumping in. I know that for me, it was a feeling that I was not able to express, but that sums up the way I felt, to say, you know what, to heck with this, I'm going to go do it.
Strikes me listening to both of you, right, in conclusion, that it's a perfect teamwork going on here. You're focusing on the entrepreneur rather as an individual, finding your dream, finding your passion, and doing that makes you become more fully alive, and that's who you are. And you're emphasizing that to the extent that entrepreneurs do that, they follow their dreams and do the passion, that it works out best for all of us.
Absolutely.
And that we get the social benefits, so it's win-win all around. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for being with us today. Wonderful talks.
Thank you,
Stephen.
Thank you.